I'm here just as somebody subscribed. What is up, everybody? Clapping for the start of the stream. So, I decided to take off from work just a little bit early today so that we could continue to build the tool changer. Hopefully, that the audio is correct this time. Let's take a look real quick. That was one of the things that I thought about. It is set to mono, so you should hear it in both ears, unlike last time, so that's good. There's a whole lot of people in chat. Hello, everyone. We will chat along the day here as we build. I do see Magnus joined. Hello, Magnus. So, let's start with a bit of a recap. So the first stream, so this is the E3D tool changer. There is a link. Nightbot is scrolling across the bottom. Thank you for the confirmation on the sound, Jerry and Magnus. There's a link in Nightbot where you can check out the E3D tool changer. You could also check out the manual if you want to follow along. I'll tell you where we're at here in a minute. It is not necessarily a 3D printer. It is a tool changing machine. You can use any type of tool with it, whichever one they developed. I just so happen to have 4 V6 3D printing tools for this machine at this time. So the first stream, we put together the motion system, and that was actually pretty straightforward. That was about a 3-hour stream. Got most of all of the frame and everything put together, so that was good. Now, the second stream didn't go so well. It was about 2.5 hours in, but when you get to part 3 of those instructions, the first thing it says is you need some 3D printed parts to continue on. And of course, I didn't read ahead or know anything about it, even though people in the chat probably warned me about it. I did not adhere to that. So we did as much as we could. I put together a lot of the parts of the tool heads. I got the part that actually grabs the tool head. I got that put together. So we did make some progress, but we didn't necessarily go in the right order. So now, where are we today? So I've printed all my parts. I went with Prusament ASA Galaxy Black. It's a kind of a sparkly black color. I really like this filament, and their ASA is very consistent. Plus, it's ASA, so it's going to be a little more heat resistant. It is UV resistant if you were to need that kind of thing, but that really doesn't matter in this case. But the big reason for ASA or ABS would be a lot of these parts have to be tapped. And that was another section that I didn't realize. So if you're building a tool changer, you're going to need a 2.5 millimeter tap and a 3 millimeter tap. I believe that's a 0.5 thread on that. But anyway, you're going to need to tap some of these parts because they are going to hold a screw. So ASA or ABS, something like that, would be a better choice rather than PLA. PLA is kind of hard to tap because if the tool gets hot, you're going to melt it a little bit. But you can do it, but just be careful. So that's that. Now, the only thing that I have done that wasn't on stream was I did put the tool heads, I did put a lot of the tool heads together, but I went ahead and put the plastic cap on the tool head and I put the part fan on. So that's the only thing I did because I did have to tap some holes, and every plastic part that needed to be tapped, I went ahead and tapped it, so you didn't have to watch me stand here and tap a whole bunch of plastic parts. Because that part did take, I mean, there's quite a few holes you have to tap, so that part did take, I don't know, an hour or better just to do that section. So that's where we are. We are ready to put the mounts. So these are the, and I'll show you on the other camera. These are the mounts that actually catch the tool. This is where they set when they're not in use. So that's the section of the manual we're at. We're going to put these on the frame, and then we'll just continue on and keep building. So that's where we are. Hopefully we make a little progress today. I know we won't be printing today, but I got a couple of spare hours here. So we'll work for a while and see how it goes. There's a whole bunch of people here. Handy in Australia at the moment, I'll bet. Motorhead Mitch is here. Hey. 3D printer one more time. Sorry. Tristan, Jerry, David. Excellent. Okay. Nice. Something to listen to while you work on printers. That's always good. John Strand, Johnny B, Derek Matthews just got here. Excellent. So, we are on part number 5, which is V6 Bowden tool and dock installation. So let's get our chassis up here, and let's figure out a camera angle that will work for both of us. I think we're going to be working on the top, so I think still this view is probably still valid. We're going to be, so the tools actually park right here. It puts them back. There's a little magnet, a set of forks and a magnet that puts the tools back. So we're going to install those keepers, the docks on top. So it's Friday. It is Friday. It feels like this week has been really, really long, but even though we had a holiday in the middle. But it is Friday, so happy Friday to everyone. Hopefully you're all going to be doing something interesting this weekend. We might build some more this weekend. I really don't know what my schedule is as of yet, but we might finish this up. Who knows? We'll see. So we have 2 lefts and 2 rights for our docks, and they coincide to the correct sides of the printer. So let's just start assembling. What size wrench do we need? You ordered an SK Go? Excellent. I've got mine dialed in pretty good now. I'm going to start showing off some prints on it. It is printing fairly well. I think I am going to design a inductive probe mount for it. So, because the bed is okay once you get it set, but it is just a little bit fiddly because of the way it's mounted on those L brackets. But it's Core XY, you know, bed down type. So it's not that big of a deal, but, you know, just with the little bit of weight that a probe would add, and they only cost around $3, it's probably wise just to be sure. So I think that's the first mod that I'm going to make, just so I can get some super consistent workflow, I guess you could say, out of it. So I know it's going to be right every time. Get paid to watch streams. That's right. Hey, Mike, how's it going? Oh, also note, so if you watch those other streams, you didn't see me using any super glue or Loctite because I was just mocking stuff together to make sure I had it all correct. There are a couple of spots where you have to glue magnets on these docks and things like that where you do need some glue. I went back and did all that, and I did pull all these bolts one at a time and put some Loctite on it. So everything they tell you to Loctite in the manual, I went back and went through all of that. Just, you know, for reference, if somebody's watching this later, I did do all that. A lot of people don't like ABL, and I get that. You know, if you have a nice sturdy frame printer, most of the time, you know, if it's really solidly built, you can level once and then you're done. I mean, you don't have to mess with the level very often at all. I much prefer the configuration where there's no movement to the bed, where it's like mounted on standoffs, where you have no adjustment at all. You just get it as flat as you can, and then you spruce it up with level. It just seems to work better. I don't know. I don't like the fiddliness of the adjustments. That's just my preferred configuration. That's the one that I've had the most luck with. So I just kind of like ABL because it takes some of the, if you get it set up right, it can either add a whole lot of headache or, you know, make your life easier. One of the two. If you get it set up right, I find that it makes life easier. Yes. David Dorset is here. Hello. Absolutely. Mark III. That is One of my main machines as well. Solid post NABL, excellent. Maker of things, greetings, how are you? Prusa trained you, appreciate it. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, our docks are on. They look to be on the correct way. And then you can place one of your tool heads on each dock. And they go, there's just holes in them, and they slide right on the forks, and they lightly grip with a magnet, just so they don't fall off. Chris Goulatis here. What's up, Chris? Converted the Ender 3 over to solid bounce. That's probably a wise idea. Johnny Gardner, what's up? And use the probe to get the X entry right. Yep. That's a great trick. Using the probe, so you take a quick level. Run a G20. If you've got some skew or something like that, a Prusa machine will try to skew it to correct itself in the Z, so you can take it all the way up. That will level out X, and then when you bring it down, you should be level to your bed that's on standoffs. But if you have some wonkiness, that's a good trick. You can, if you don't necessarily, you're not squaring, you can't square with the top automatically, run a G29, look at that map that it will spit out in the serial connection in the terminal, and then you can kind of run left or right to get some of that X. It will, and then run it again, and you can see how far off it is from the bed. That's a pretty good trick. I like that one. All right, so 6 is for the heat bed, but we have to take it off for wiring. But there are a few standoffs to put on. So I am going to go ahead and put the standoffs on, because I skipped that before. If I can find said standoffs. These are all the duet parts. Because now that I think about it, I didn't see any of those standoffs. Maybe they're in the... They put them in here with all the other bed stuff, which would make some sense. This is just a piece of glass. We can set that back here before I break it. Yeah, I'm kind of on the fence about the duet replica. I thought that was the glass. What is it? This has to be the bed. What's this made out of? Yeah, there's my standoffs. I was alerted because of the way it sounded when it was coming out. It's aluminum, I guess. These are really cool heated beds. They're kind of pricey. Yeah, Marlin did do that. They had a way to automate that a bit, kind of like how Prusa does it. They changed it up. I used it once or twice, and then they changed it up a bit, and I never went back and tested it again. So I would like to try that. Cool. That heater is as far out to the edge as it could be. That's awesome. All right. Back to what I was saying about the Duet clone. So I have been contacted to test the Duet clone, but I have not agreed to test it. I believe that their intent is to have a setup like this. Have a breakout DuX board for tool changers and such. That's one of the reasons why they developed it. But I mean, Duet is open source. I mean, that it is. But those boards are really close to Duets. So I don't really know how I feel about it. I don't really think that I would care to test it, honestly. If you're going to do something like this, if you're going to use a Duet, if you're going to take it to that extreme, because Duet boards are very nice, and they're somewhat expensive, but if you're going to take it to that extreme, this isn't some $8 ramps job, right? I would just soon see people buy the Duets. Now, there's, if that's what you run, if you have to get a printer up and going, and you want to get your build done, I don't see that there's really anything wrong with it. It is open source, but I don't know. If you're going to that extreme already, you might as well go just a little bit further, I think. That's just my opinion. Overhauling the TiVo. Z-banding wobble on Mark II. Not on a 2. Those motors tend to be pretty dead on. I mean, maybe very slight banding, but even then, I usually get really consistent results. See, how's that set up? That's in the plastic parts in it with the bearings. I've never seen that. Huh. Yeah, unless one of the motors is bent, but even so, I mean, one of the rods has been bent, but even if it has been bent, it should be constrained enough where you really shouldn't see Z wobble. Are you sure it's real consistent banding, or maybe like you're missing a tooth on the X or something? What's the build volume? That's a great question. I want to say it's 220 by 300 by 300, something like that, maybe. ZD1 printer? No, I have not. SKR 1.4. I don't know what to think about 1.4 yet. They're on the way. I've been told. I've got boards on the way, so I haven't checked it out yet. People have been telling me about it, mainly people on streams, and they say there's a lot more open pins, and that was one of the gripes I had about 1.3s. 1.3s are fine boards and they're very affordable, but you could have used a couple more pins, servos and such. So I hear 1.4 has fixed that, so I'm anxious to see it. Yeah, no, I'm trying to save all of the good stuff for you so we can do it together. Dual Z ports, that's also awesome. Good deal. Good deal. What'd you miss? Not much yet. MMU2 on your Ender 5. You can't do it with the stock board. You'd have to find another board. I wouldn't say it was a bad decision, but there's going to be some fiddliness involved with that. Okay, so we've got the standoffs. We'll just leave it that way for now until we wire up. Next, we're going to fit the spool holders. Now, in this manual, I flipped through looking for the GitHub printed parts. In this manual, E3D is using 8mm by 90 steel rods, stainless rods. They don't give you those with a kit, but they have a 3D printed version, and I did print them out. But depending on what spool you want to hang, these aren't going to be great. I'm going to go ahead and put them on, but yeah, I don't know how long those will last. So I might consider, if I continue with these spool holders, I might consider cutting some rods down and transplanting those in. Sean, so there's a whole lot of things you can do with the servo pins, because servo pins are 5-volt switchable for the most part, or you can make them that way. LED lights. It seems like I've done so many different things with it, but you would have power available, and it's not just the servo pins that you could do switching. Like I've used servos for BL Touch is a probe that you can put down, but also you can use an actual servo for an arm for a probe. They make adding a few different things a little easier, but not just servo pins, but auxiliary pins would be nice if we could get, because like on ramps or MKS, MKS has specific pins that you can add a screen to, EXP 1 and 2, but they also have exposed pins for AUX 1, 2, and 3. So it would just be nice to have some available, and also to have access to your UART ports. Transmit and receive. Okay. So these, I don't think these would cause me any issues while wiring. So let's slide the acrylic panels on. R. Chan, thank you for the subscription. Jacob subscribed right at the beginning of the stream. Thank you as well. It could be, it could be that rapid movement. The one of kind of the downfalls on the Prusa design there on the Mark II, I think they do it on the 3 as well. In fact, I know they do. They have the belt teeth running on a smooth pulley, so you are effectively squashing those teeth. So as it goes over that pulley, or as it wears, that might be a cause of some noise, especially if you're like what you're saying, you have text that you're making really small movements. That could cause it. Adjust your belt tension. Play around with that, see if it changes at all. Does it actually require you? I have to look through the script. You can edit that script. Just in that one long-winded command, just do the web get part. Just take the rest off, and that'll pull the script down. And then you can go in and just add comments for the instances that you don't want. You don't necessarily have to run the multi-install first. That script assumes that you do, because it's building that USB file. Give it a try. Run it and see what it does. I don't think you would have to, but I was trying to lead people through a set of steps that I know would work, and that's how I tested it. So give it a shot. Just pull the script down and pull a few lines out or comment them out or something, and you should be okay. Okay. So which way do they show these? How big is that? So that's that one. There and there. So this one goes over here. get all these lined up. There we go. On this acrylic, you definitely don't want to tighten this up too much, because you will have a problem if you do. Like a whole lot of broken panels. Robbie Mac, I was talking about that in one of the other streams. Now you can get all the Mad Mike said something about spinning the dough is going to be tough, but we can work in some sort of dough hook or something. Maybe we'll just have to use frozen crust. I don't know. Of course, I just dropped that in there. Well, that didn't work out so well. These T-nuts are actually a little higher quality than the ones I'm used to, so you don't have to fiddle with them near as much, but they actually fit in the channel. They're not too tight, so if you're not careful, you will lose them. Most of them just barely have enough room to get in the channel that you run into. These are actually somewhat correctly fitting, so they throw me a little bit. I'm used to just slopping things together and trying to make it work. Yeah, I want to get into like designing some of the tool heads. That's one of the things that I'm most excited about this. I would like to develop some other heads for it. I'm really interested, and I've said this a million times if you've watched any of my streams, I'm really interested in adapting these for pick and place. Not that I really have a need for it or a project in mind where it would work, but how cool would it be to do prints and then run over and grab something and integrate it into that print automatically? That would be just insane to watch. I would love to see it. I think that would be a really cool one to do. And I don't think it would be that difficult. I think you could design it depending on what you were picking up, right? I don't think it would be that hard to put together. I think that'd be really awesome. If nothing else, just to see it work. Let's slide this around here. Hello, Don. PVA dedicated head. I had to find a way to keep it dry. That's always been my problem with PVA. You almost have to print with that stuff from a dryer. Man, subscribers are killing it. Randall, thank you for your subscription. M6HBJ Barry, thank you. RC Pilot, thank you. It would have been just easier if I took this off. PETG is supports, yep. I like that idea. Gadget Angel is here. Hello, how are you doing? Let's see if we can get this back to fit. Got it. Okay. We'll go ahead and slide that other one on. Tony Ryan, what's up? Over extrusion and clean it up? That's pretty cool. That's a pretty good idea. So I was going to build yesterday. I'll tell you a short story. I was going to build yesterday, but my nephew, he is 12 today, which I don't think he watches my streams, but happy birthday to my nephew. He is out of school for winter break, and he was over here, and he got an electronics kit, you know, like resistors and diodes and LEDs and all that good stuff. He got that for Christmas, and he really didn't know anything about it. So yesterday instead, I spent a couple hours with him, showing him how to set different circuits up and all that good stuff. So we had some fun with that. So that's what I did yesterday instead. But I don't have any children, so I have to pass knowledge off onto him so that he can take care of me when I'm old. So that's also an important investment. Milda, what's up? I try to be a good uncle sometimes. I don't get to see him very often, but Colin is here. What's up? Hardman was in the hospital yesterday. Was it you or somebody else? Whoever it was, I hope they're feeling better. We don't like that. Dave Kennedy would like to see Toolhead into the infill areas. That's a pretty good idea. You know, we've talked about this before, and you know, we just talk about the same stuff over and over, I know. But not everybody joins every stream, so it might be new to some people. But I've talked about that in the past. So back in the day, you know, before you had tricky infills and things like that, if I wanted to add weight to something, I would just stop the print. I'd set the infill as such, and I'd stop the print and just throw in a handful of stuff, you know, whatever was cheap and heavy. So if you could fill it, you know, in certain areas like that, that's a pretty good idea. I like that idea. It doesn't give me a screw length on this, but I don't know, that's kind of long. Well, after it goes through the acrylic, that's probably right. Let's just test one here and see how we do. Weighted dice, yeah, there you go. Put resin in, okay, yeah, I can see that. I don't like this wrench. I want the other wrench. I like that wrench much better. I should get him some sort of book, you're right, Tony. You know me, I just wing everything. If he actually sat down and learned, he would probably be heads and tails better off than I was when I was a kid. Well, there's so much, there's, how technology goes. There's so much more stuff available now than there was even 30 years ago. But I had the old Radio Shack kit, which I think they were really expensive at the time. I'm not sure how I got one, but that had the you got all the jumper wires, but it had all the spring terminals that you could hook stuff together, and there was this giant book of stuff that you could build, and that's what I kind of got started on. You learn by, it had like 6 double A's in it or something, but you learn by, dead shorting it, and then that part of the kit is melted for the rest of your life. That's how you learn things. That's how I learned things. I think mine was actually plastic. Because I remember melting it. But yeah, kind of the same deal. That was a lot of fun. I also remember the one project kits that were fairly inexpensive. I had like 2 or 3. But the only one I remember is wrapping your own radio coil. You'd wrap the coil and then you could run it up and down to tune it. It had a little speaker that you put together. It was just a simple little kit. I remember trying to find something high enough to put the antenna on, and got yelled at because I was, gonna get electrocuted or something. You know how that goes. But good stuff. If I had those kits now, I'd probably still build them. Yeah, I probably didn't have one until the later 80s, so. Paul, my New Year's was good. Hopefully everybody else's New Year's was good. Mine was pretty uneventful. But that's not always a bad thing. Hopefully everybody else had a good one too. See, it's always a left hand problem. Just not any good with my left hand. Maybe I can find some carbon fiber rods to replace these, because they're using steel or stainless rods, and E3D was for these spool holders. Since I've got black parts, maybe I can find some nice carbon fiber ones to replace these. Most of the time, you can find that carbon fiber stuff for the same price as metal. One more. It has to be one of the shorter ones. There it is. Yeah. Okay. So, they're kind of like spool holders. I guess that's what we're going to call them. But they're on there nonetheless. Alright. So there's some sort of filament guide that goes on here, and they want the small hole with the small hole in the printed filament pickup, 2 on each side. And they want the smaller hole facing up. Okay. So one kind of goes slot-wise, and the other one goes the other way. I'm guessing these are all the longer screws, because I don't think I have any more short ones. Yeah, it looks like that'll work. Okay. Local hobby stores with carbon tubes? Nice. I don't know if there's any place around here where I could get carbon tubes, but I really haven't looked either. Can you use ABS on this? You could if you had a top. Well, I mean, you could, depending on the part size. You could print large parts if you had a top. Just about anything. A V6 is only good to around 300C, so if we could swap, we need, one of the first tool heads we need to make is the Mosquito tool head. That is very top of the list. As soon as this thing's running, I will want to swap it out with a Mosquito, just to say I did it. So that's first thing we have to do, and then we can go all the way to 450. Not that that would be advisable or possible without a heated chamber for most plastics, but it's not always about should you do it, it's about can you do it. Had Super Volcano on it. It is all metal, but it's aluminum. It's got an aluminum heat block. So 300, 310 is what they recommend. I believe they have all the parts though. I don't know if you switch out to the copper block or whichever block that is that you switch out to. You can convert them to higher temp, I believe. But E3D suggests 300. Anything over that is unpredictable. Also, the thermistor that they sell you is only good to the thermistor that the normal standard thermistor you're used to for that V6 is only good to around 300. I'm getting down to kind of some scarce hardware here. We don't have a whole lot left. Sounds nice, yeah. And so the Hermes is actually going to be available from E3D sometime this month. So that is already the Hemera. That is already being worked into a toolhead. You can buy the toolhead package for the Hemera sometime very, very soon. Maybe we can get them to send one over for us to test with. Even after this thing is up and running, though, this won't be the last time that we see it on a live stream, I'm sure. It's just, there's too many different things that we could test on it. Maybe we'll just have tool changer hangouts. Dark matter block. I've got some graphite blocks over there. In fact, Dave sent them to me. Dave was in here. Dave sent them to me. Dave Kennedy. Mars Pro, excellent. All right, our guides are on. We have a duct port. So we can put this on the we can put these parts on the back panel, but we don't put the back panel on yet. So we've got a lot of wiring to do. We can go ahead and pop those on. Gotta love Loctite. This board is a duet, Paul. Cost in total to my door, it's around $3,800 with shipping. I got stabbed with some custom stuff, things like that. Might need a touch of glue. We'll just put these in and set them over here for now. We don't really need to mess with this yet. But we did complete that step. So we're good there. Next up, we install the wiper. Now, so what they have done, so instead of doing a ramming and making a purge block, things like that, when they switch out to a head, they purge a little bit and then they hit it on a brush. And they have used just some random brush that they've cut the end off of. So I'm going to slide the holder in there and just go ahead and install it. But I'm going to have to find a brush that fits it. I've got and they do have a vertical adjustment on that, which is good to see. I do have a couple of those brass brushes, but I don't know if any of them are actually dense enough to clean that nozzle. I've got quite a few of them, but I'd like it to be quite a bit more dense than this, because the one they show is really dense. So I might have to look around for one of these that looks better than the others to use that. But we'll go ahead and put the arm on while we're standing here. Hey, 3D Jimmy. Andy, no worries. Thanks for coming to the stream. There's a, you know, 3,800 is pricey, but there's a lot that went into this, and some of the, I mean, it's a pretty impressive machine. Just looking at it. So, but you know, we'll see how it goes when we start printing, or doing whatever it is that we're going to do with this. Red Light Mike is here. What's up, Red Light? Makes you sad, Panda. So that's the problem. I take the bits out of here and then I never put them back, so it's just laying in the sea of junk, like everything else. Hey, Sergio. In the crane listening to me? Awesome. Thanks for joining. That is true. If you would need something softer than the nozzle. We'll probably have to play around with that. I saw one mod on this, one rendition of the tool changer. Don't remember where I was when I saw this, but they had the vacuum cleaner hooked up to it. So instead of, cleaning it really good, they still hit it with the brush, just to make sure. But instead of cleaning it really good, it would come over here and park, and then it had a relay that would kick on a vacuum and grab whatever was hanging from that nozzle before it went to print, and it'd kick the vacuum back off. I thought that was really cool. If you had one of these in a shop space where you had like a dust collector, that would be amazing, because you'd have all that already set up. Now, it might be a little much while it's printing all night, it kicking on and on and off a vacuum while I'm trying to sleep. But that might be something I play with, just because I think that's really cool. Oh, it even has a note in here. Brass nozzles will wear out quickly with the brush, so it's recommended you use hardened steels with the brush. So there you go. So we'll have to find something. We'll have to find something for our brush that's a little less abrasive, but I'm sure we can round up something. Brush is on. Step 7 is done. Tool changer, tool head installation. So this is the one. This is the step that I hopped to the other night on the last stream because I didn't have my printed parts. So pretty much all of this is done. The tool head's on. The changing motor is on. All that good stuff. I did go back, by the way. This thing levels with a micro switch underneath. I did go back and put Loctite on these. So let's rip through this. We've done all this, all this. All this is done. Okay, so we're down to putting the tool head cover on. So there's a cover that goes over this whole gear mechanism that I printed out right here. And it says they're M3x5s, which is a tiny little screw. Automatic nozzle changer. Now that's an idea. It's deeply heartbreaking to see. No, I've never seen that, but I'll take your word for it. Mad D subscribed. Thank you for the subscription. Robert Avery, thank you very much. Thanks for coming to the stream. Silicone wiper, yeah, that's a good idea. There's all kinds of different things we can do with this. Christian, thank you very much for the subscription. Things have been going a little crazy for me on the YouTube lately with all the streams that we've been doing. And I decided to, so I put out a series of videos this week, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, on redoing the, that's not, I don't know how to say nitrum or nitrum. That's, he's been in and out of here for a long time. YouTube probably just messed his subscription up. But thank you again for subscribing and checking that. But I did those videos 3 in a row, and then I've been doing these streams here and there. So YouTube's been kind of going crazy. The more active they see you or something in their algorithm, they show your videos. I don't know. Okay, so then we have some printed parts, one here and one over here for minding your wires. There's just little couplers, but they are different. So it looks like Oh, this is the one I was having a hard time telling which one was which. So I pulled them up in the slicer so I could tell what the different ones look like. Where are those parts? There's a cable, what do they call them? They call them cable bracket. X carriage cables, X carriage cable bracket. So let's find those STL files. So X, come on. One is just a little wider than the other one. Why can't you look at two files at once? 3D viewer in Windows is worthless for the most part. At least I haven't found a use for it yet. When they got recommended the chat, well, I can totally believe that. I don't think I'm there yet, but things have definitely picked up a little bit over the last week. But a lot of people are home watching YouTube right now, right? This is kind of a slow week for some folks. Okay. So, X carriage cable bracket. X carriage cable bracket is the smaller of the two, and it goes on top of the tool head. I really wish there was just a little bit. Oh, it's going to be very obvious because the bolt pattern's different. Excellent. And it goes up there like that. And M3 by 8. I don't know. That's like a maybe a 10. I'll have to use a wrench. All right. Good. That's what I was going for. And a lot of people want to say, well, you should do this in Linux, and you should, do it this way instead of, doing it the way I show you in Linux. And I'm really, I mean, that's perfectly fine. I totally agree with a lot of people. They say, well, you should do this or use these commands to make it easier. And that does make it easier for me as a Linux user. But I don't think it makes near as much sense like displaying. There's different ways that you can display the devices, and then you can grep out what you need to know, things like that. I think it makes things a little more easy to understand for somebody that doesn't do command line all the time. If you just go take a look at the log and all that good stuff. But that's the best way that I've found to show people how to do Linux stuff. So hopefully, thank you for that comment, but I hope that works out for most people. All right. I don't think I have any more of those cap head screws. Unless there's a little bag of them somewhere. Oh, there's one. We might have lost one to the floor monster. Or I just get, oh, there it is, it's buried. Cool, we got it. See you later, Tony. Notepad does work perfectly fine to edit those files. It doesn't add a return character at the end of each line. If that's true, then Notepad's gotten a lot better than the last time I tried to use it for that. Notepad++, the nice part is you can change the end of line. So you can change it to Unix, Windows, so you don't have any misconceptions when you're taking it over to Linux. That's why I always tell everybody to use it instead. All right, 8 is done. Flying through it. Now we get to wiring. Oh boy. So let's just open this wiring box and see what we have in here. This is the magical mystery right here. How good is this wire loom, and is it going to take me a million years to figure it out? Excellent, just upgraded to mints. It's good to hear, Pat. Hey, Paul, how's it going? Wiring is boring. Well, unfortunately, it is necessary. Okay. These are all terminated. These are for each, I can already tell, these are for each Hotends set. That is a load off right there. So you have all these bands. They're using these steel bands, or whatever they are, metal bands, flexible bands, to mine the wires. That's cool. So it's all terminated and reasonably straight. So I'm more than happy with that. Excellent. We will definitely have to have the duet wiring diagram. Nope. I'm not going to go that far yet. All right, let's set up. They have a receptacle for your AC power. And they want it to go over there with the power supply, so that makes sense. Let's do that. So many wires. M6x10s and some T-nuts. I believe they want you to, yes they do. M6 10s. They would like some Loctite on those. Yeah, I don't think anyone received one of these for free outside of the 5 beta testers, or however many there were. There weren't that many. I don't even know if they got them for free. Alright. Let's see. I'm guessing they want this on the outside, right? Mm-hmm. I think my phone just made noises. It looks to be all correct and terminated to me, Sergio. It's better than I thought I was going to get into. So, thank you E3D for that. That's very much appreciated. All right. Now, I had that lifted 5mm for a reason, and then I didn't adhere to that. Just want it off the metal a bit. Doesn't have to be precise. There we go. There's that. Okay, so they have different fuses. They give you a 5-amp fuse for 220 and then 12-amp fuse for 110. So we need to figure out what our receptacle is set up as. Receptacle is actually be the term for the wall socket, but you get the gist. Well, at least there's no fuse in here at all, so you'll know real quick. That you need to put one in there. This is 12-amp. Got lucky the first time. Don't break, don't break. Haven't said that in a few streams. There's this. Done. The phone said something. Okay, never mind. Fuse. Now we need to find some wires. Those should be pretty obvious because they are for the AC power. Here they are. What's up, Martin? This is just, I just got the stock tool changer version. They're all E3D V6s. This is the package that they offer right at the moment. We're not printing yet, Steven. Thanks for coming to the stream. It's 4mm. Well, the top one's 4. Bottom one might be a little thinner than that. There aren't any other options from E3D except V6s, except the Humera, which will be available soon. That's all I know. All right. So what kind did we get? Yep. There it is. And drop it on the floor. Oh, my switch is actually contained in here. Super slow print. I did that, Martin. I'll have to show you my print. It didn't come out that well. Misumi, if you can get them from Misumi, they're good. They're kind of pricey. Not the quietest bearing, but they're pretty nice quality. In place of the Pro Mega. Yeah, that was interesting. Alright, so we got brown wire for the, what would they like to use? So we got connection. So we got blue on neutral. And this one is, that's the PSU Live one. It really doesn't matter a whole lot which way I do this, but I will go with the way that E3D does it. And there we go. So there's that. What's next? So that goes in a holder by itself. Tim just subscribed. Thank you, Tim. Yes, they have officially filled all their orders, and they are out until Monday or something. E3D is on holiday, I think, until Monday, or maybe they came back yesterday. I don't know, but yeah, they should have, like, within a month they should have them on the shelves, available, ready to order. Mine was 3,800 US all together. Which ones did there? Those are those really long flathead screws that they want you to use. Where? Ah, here it is. That is a tight fit, but we only have 3 wires. I worked today. I only got New Year's Day off and Christmas Day off. So I've been working this whole time. I was actually on call for Christmas this year. I did not get any calls, though, so I got very lucky. And thanks for joining the stream, by the way, Mark. We have to have our mainframes going. 365. They never stop. Alright, I need something to grab these with. There we go. Alright. This is a nice little printed assembly they've come up with, though. Keep your fingers out of here. It's always good. Where's mine? I got a sea of wire bags, and I dropped that screw on one of them. There. We got it now. One or more of the Titans with a Zesty. I might give it a try. We could see how it goes. I was thinking today about, you know, the whole Titan setup and everything. Wouldn't that make it really difficult for flexible filament? I have seen these do flexible, but I don't know how flexible that filament was. Maybe it was a semi-flex or something. Pathio? Pathio was free. Did they lock that down? I had Pathio for a while. I had access to it. I think I still do. What happened to my screw? Did it fall off the table? It rolled all the way over the other side. Diane, the palette is much better today than it has been ever. The software has gotten so much better, and than it was. I'm gonna flip this over. I don't want to bend over and try to look at that. It's better now than it ever was. I still don't think it's at the level for a beginner. There's still a little bit of fiddliness to it, and the software is getting better, but I still think it needs a little ways to go. I don't really care for the slicer. They use web. They use Canvas IO from the web, so I don't care for that. Eventually, I think they'll have it where, you know, have it locked down where it will be okay for a new person to try. But I think there's still going to be some messing around with it for a while longer. So I don't know, really. I mean, it's not a great answer, but I've struggled with it. And I know a little bit about 3D printing. Not a great deal, but a little bit. So someone coming in new might struggle. Ridvars, thank you for the subscription. Riley Fan Club, what's up, Tom? Matt Blanchette, thank you. First version was a bit buggy, yep. Use 83 on a Titan clone setup? Cool. Well, that's good to know. I jumped ahead of him here. So what do we got? So we got our, this is 20, yeah, 20, we got our 24 volt out wires. Oh, they've already got the ferrules and stuff on them. They made like a Y cable. That's cool. And they want the double bound onto here. Thanks, Matt. I'm glad the video was helpful. So this, after you get everything wired, there's one more acrylic plate that goes down over this that has a duct and a few things on it. So it sets over the whole thing, so you won't need a cover. I guess you could make an additional cover to go over this, but yeah, it has a whole plate that sets on top. That it's going to be like, you know, your computer case when you built it when you were younger. You never put the door back on because you were always messing with it. I have a feeling that's how this is going to read. Pretty sure. All right, so we've got. Oh, so we're daisy chaining over to the do X. That's what we got going on here. And on duet, yeah, this one is. Yep. When I was younger. Well, I was a lot younger 30 years ago. All right. But I still don't put the case back on my computer most of the time. I don't have an old school, you know, put it to desktop, put it together yourself with parts computer anymore. I kind of miss that. This thing is long-winded. I got it that time. We're just gonna push these down in this channel right here, because that looks like a good way to go. I think I just heard my print finish over there. Yeah, most of my stuff. So this computer, I've got a desktop over there on the other side. That it's nothing. It's an old desktop that I use for, so I don't have to walk all the way back over here for slicing, and I got kind of a little office area over there. So I got a desktop over there, and then I have a desktop here, but I wanted something a lot smaller, so I ended up with one of those console replacement computers. And I don't know how well that actually worked out. It works okay now, I guess, but once in a while it does crash, as you've probably seen during the streams. And then everything else I use a laptop. So yeah, I really don't have a need for the customized desktop like I used to. You know, that was a big thing when you were playing games and stuff. Gotta have the newest video card and all that good stuff, right? More RAM. There's my wife. Hello, wife. She's hanging out with her friend. Hello, Carmen. How are you? Why would you ever stop playing games? I don't have time to play games. Still game on PC? Right on. There's nothing wrong with it. I would too if I occasionally I play with Xander and his buddies, but they're a lot better than me. Oh, you are very welcome for the support. Anything I can do. But thank you for that. Three PCI slots. Yeah, available for USB. Yep. 20 years ago. I know, 3DFX. You remember what Monster cards? You remember that? That was back there a ways. Monster Sound. I think they did video too. I vaguely remember that. If you opted for SSR, use 2 supplied. Okay, so what kind of bed wires do we have? Is there anything attached to this guy? Yes, there is, but what is it? So let's kind of ferret this out here. This is hot inset, hot inset, hot inset, hot inset. These are extruder motor wires. These are X and Y motor wires. All in one tech. What is up? These are motor and switch wires. This is for the bed. Okay. So, but I should have another, yeah, right here. Okay, now we got it. So we're cabling up the SSR to the Duet so it can turn that AC bed on and off. $12 meg. That's right, Voodoo. Yeah, that's it. The original was. It looked amazing. Quake. Oh man, I haven't thought about Quake in forever. That's when you had the nail gun, right? That's that one. Yes, all of them are pre-cut, proper links. The links look good. They've got all the terminal connections have ferrules on them. They're all set. They're in good shape. Next. We need a wire. Here it is. So we need to get some live power over to the SSR. So we're going to piggyback that here. Not my favorite thing to do, but hey. Sean Butler, what's up? That one is a touch tight. Connect one of the red wires from the heat bed into the neutral input on the PSU. Connect the other wire into the SSR as shown. These don't have connectors on them. This is the only thing that doesn't have connectors on them is this bed right here. How do these run through? What would be the best way? So those go right out the back. I'm going to say they come through here. So let's just set this inside. And we'll run the wires through. Cable chain. Thank you so much for saying that. And that one's not an open chain, is it? No, it is not. Phew, you just saved me a lot of time. One moment. Let me take a look at that real quick. Actually, as I went through and looked at it, we leveled the bed we took a level on this to ground, and then we tried to adjust the bed on this the same way with a level, and the table's not very level. So I actually went through I went through and tried to level this table. It didn't go that great, but I did. I thought it was kind of funny. Well, I'd make an attempt at it. I got it a little more level. Info Mario says hi bye. See you. Ticket came up last week. Nice. Just passing in for the like button. Awesome. Thanks, Sean Butler. Haven't used Fortran since '81. Yeah, I don't know many still using Fortran. 260 people watching. Jeez, Friday must be the day for streams, huh? All right. What do they want us to do here? I want one of these to be flipped. My phone keeps beeping, okay. The light keeps going off and it's annoying. So I want to flip this one the other way. I have not had the week off. It's just been kind of a slow week. Cool. Nice. Thanks, Mitch, for hanging out. Master NBC Happy New Year to you. Ah. I'm so glad you reminded me about this drag chain. This is going to save me some time. Okay, so I think this would be easier to install right side up. So let's slide this out just for a second. I didn't even think about that. I'm glad those magnets were strong enough to hold those tool heads while I flipped it over. Jeremy, thank you for the subscription. Should have grabbed that washer and nut before I put that on there, because it's gonna fall off. I can just tell. The power of magnets. Slow for day job, great for tool changer. Yeah, the tool changer kind of came at the perfect time. Tom, I saw your video on the Chimera. You were testing it. I watched some of it, but I didn't get to finish it. What do you think? You still pretty happy with it? How's it going? I know there's a lot of people out there testing them, but I know you had one. And you're pretty 3D printer savvy. I can't get in there. How about a wrench? Love it. Awesome. 3D Print Viking is here. Hey, Tom. Oh. The tool changer can be kind of anything. It's basically just a platform for, I mean, it's, you know, Cartesian motion, Core XY flavored. But you can, it was not designed by a 3D printing company, of course. Would you stop dropping that screw? But yeah, it's designed so that we can branch out into other heads besides just 3D printing. It's just a solid platform for doing that. And that's what I'd really like to do. Figure out how to make, design new heads and things like that for it. Testing that gravity. Still works. You don't, you got a true Bondtech and a V6 you're gonna sell. All right. Testing that gravity. No need for anyone else to test it. Tested it for you. Sockets. This would be easier. I had a socket. Printing at this exact moment. I am printing ABS 3D printer tests to test out printing enclosures. That's what I'm printing right at this moment. So, spoiler alerts. And I don't know if we could get real inventive here. Might be somewhat easier to snake these through here now. Where am I on the build? I'm actually on the wiring stage, but I left the cable chain off, and I believe his name was Jason, was so kind to remind me that I did that. So now I'm putting it on. You probably can't see much anyway, so I don't know why I'm trying to give you a shot of what I'm doing. So I'm just going to spin this around so it makes it a little easier for me. How selfish. Kinda need it. Besides, it's never a boring time. We're chatting. We're hanging out. On this fine Friday. I really should have printed, some like bright pink cable chain or something to put on here. We made it. If we skip the wiring, it's now currently working as good as it's going to. We'd be done with this stream. I'm not going to put it on yet. Let's go ahead and set it up here. Find a couple more screws. Here's one. Hand crank manual 3D printer. How tidy you can get it? Oh, that's not me. Watching from the biolab. Thank you very much. Clingy noise. That's very annoying. They squeak a little bit, don't they? Alright. This might be a touch interesting to fish through here. I don't know if that'd be easier if the bed was higher or lower. We will have some clanging. Imagination to Form is the best bot. His AI is impressive. Etch-a-Sketch 3D printer. What was the name of the toy that you moved the the filings around to make him have hair. That's the kind of 3D printer we need. Willie or something was his name. The amount of metal work inside. Alright, so Jen, what's up? Just building some stuff on this fine Friday. We need one more countersunk screw. There it is. They got the count on the hardware on this pretty close. There's not a lot of extra anything in this kit. So, if you put together anything like I do, try not to lose a bunch of parts. There's a tip that I can give you. Don't let the floor eat a lot of parts. Because I tend to do that, as you've seen. I am missing an M3 nut. But never fear. Never fear. Yep, I think I lost it. But that was probably eaten by the floor. There's probably a few spares running around here someplace. If not, you know, roughly 1,000 or so. Oh, wait. Nope, I didn't drop it. It's just right here under this bag. We got it. Anti-static mat on my table. I had one for a long time, actually. And it got in my way. So, I took it off. Print it from a MasterCard. You could. The lower screw on the cable chain on the mount, I can't get my fingers in there to set the screw, so I have to use a wrench to push it through. I feel like I'm changing spark plugs on a Chevy V8. There's always that one under the firewall you can't quite reach. Testing gravity. Roomba, I know. The risk of magic smoke makes it fun. Of course it does. Sorry. I don't even think moving this would make it any easier. It's just in a weird spot. Sorry. It's the only problem with magic smoke. Once you let it out, it's really hard to get it back in. All right. So I think we're good there. $230 on a 5-volt pen. Ouch. It is Friday. Good one. All right. Cable chain crisis averted. Next. Now, so you have to put, so you're going to split that bed neutral on with the SSR and a neutral, but those wires don't have any, and maybe that's because of the cable chain. They didn't put an end on it so that it was easier to get it through the cable chain, but I would rather have a terminal on the end of these. So I think I will put them on there. If I have some. I'm pretty sure I do, though. The right size terminal is always the question. I should buy these like by the thousands. Then I'd just lose them. Money was no object. Yeah, that's dangerous when Sanjay says something like that. Okay. I just feel a little better about having some terminals on there. We'll actually, I'm going to put these away because we're going to switch to the round type ferrule for the thermistor wires anyway. So we'll put this one on the SSR. Exo slides on your Tornado Cube. Exo slides are awesome. They're they make building a lot easier. I'm thinking about building an Exo slide printer as well. I thought I might try a Hypercube build, but I was thinking the other day, I've got a printer that is really just a pile of parts at this moment. I thought about making like a mini one with Exo slides. You know, not super small, but it kind of depends on what size bed I can get a hold of. Or make one, or whatever that might be. I thought about doing that instead. But, you know, I have all this free time to do more and more builds. Alright, SSR is hooked up. Now we are moving to X, Y, and Z. Looking from the back of the printer, they're going to give you left and right. So let's switch around here. Rails for the same money. Yeah, and I agree. The money wise, you're going to be around the same for whichever set of rails you'd like to use. I think the biggest advantage would be somebody new, right, trying to build one of these things. I think that would really speed things up. You don't have to mess with trying to. There's a little more tolerance with your build at that point, because you wouldn't have to get that rail just perfectly lined and all that good stuff. You could hopefully get some extrusion that was straight and throw it together a little faster. Plus, it's kind of like, it's almost the Lego effect, right? These are extruder motors. You could pop it apart fairly quickly and kind of make a different configuration if you wanted to. That'd be kind of a neat idea. All right. So it says we have B motor here. And I want to wait on that a second. I'm just going to put them on the motor side first, because I still have to figure out the configuration for that DuX board. I'm pretty sure that DuX is going to be all extruders, but I don't know that for a fact. So I'm going to wait a second. Linear will not print today. We'll need one more day, because we still have to flash firmware and all that good stuff. And then we need a Z cable. What? That slot is barely big enough to sneak that cable through there. Coffee time. Hey, that's a good idea. Yeah, that's probably a great idea, because SSRs do tend to die that way. There are some brands that try to resolve that, but I don't remember which ones they are. So this right here, this is what is it? It's a motor cable cover. This was the hardest part to print. You print it like this, but it's got really thin edges. It's just a cover. I ended up finally having to put a few supports underneath it. You should be able to print it as it sits, because they've put the angles in there where you can. But with ASA, I printed it. This was the third try, and I finally just said, that's enough. I'm going to put some supports on it, and it came out great. But with ASA, it had just enough shrink that it would pop off. So there's my story on that one. These baggies just keep growing. Hey William, yeah, we're doing good. This is the third stream. We've got about 6 hours or so. Thomas is here. What's up, Thomas? But it's going well. It's going well. We don't have near as many hours in it as I thought we would. Let's put it that way. The motion system surprised me. I thought there was going to be a lot more building and belts and all that stuff, but they did all that work for me, and that was much appreciated, because that's not one of my favorite things to do, routing Core XY belts and such. Oh, that goes on the inside. That's pretty cool. Even though it was hard to print, it's makes the printer have a very nice finish. Sure, yep, water soluble supports, absolutely. I have a couple of spools of that already. We'll give it a try. Cool, I like that. I like that cover. Okay, so back to plugging things in. It has little guides. These little guides in here that I'm guessing, we'll have to see how it works. I'm not exactly 100% sure, but I'm guessing you run it through. But again, not 100% sure on how all that's going to work yet. We'll have to see. Yep, having 4 spools of filament running inside this chamber and then getting it all tangled up would be real interesting. Not something I really think I'd want to deal with. All right. Duet. Me and Duet haven't done anything for a while. E0XY. Got Z over here. And our X over here. We'll have to make this all nice and pretty with some zip strips or something. Run it down all down the center. In fact, it's almost the exact length you need to do that, so maybe that's how they intend to do it. Cool. Extruder motors. T0 is on the right as viewed from the back of the printer. Here's all these. Yep, I think we should be up and running sometime this weekend. I don't know if I'll finish it tomorrow morning or Sunday morning, but I think we'll try to finish it this weekend. Oh, I was gonna say, how could this be? How could this be a motor cable and be this short? Well, it's because it's on that do export. It's right underneath those other ones. I was thinking, I was like, that's gonna go a long way. All right, C1. We are not doing Fun in the Country Basement this weekend. Walter won't be back for a little while. So the next one is the 12th, so next Sunday. Next Sunday. Let's go in E1, I'm guessing. And this one will go in E0. T3. T2. Do a frown in the city attic? Go for it, man. They actually provide you a ground strap for the outside of the power supply. That's awful nice of them. Let's see what length these are. Frame ground, frame ground. So that one is just a frame ground, a real short one. M4, is there a tiny little M4 screw? Yep. This is the bed ground. That's a bed ground. This is a frame ground. Everything's nicely labeled. I didn't get a lot of 3D printer stuff for Christmas, but I got some nice stuff. Cool. Yep. Catch some dinner. We'll see you sometime this weekend. We'll get this thing printing. Do we have another 6? 6 washer, ground strap, washer, T-nuts, and changing tools like that. That's right. That's right. We are grounded to the frame. So we're all nice and safe on that side. So we need one, a small one on the bed. Hello. I think I might be stymied by my excellent cable chain job there. Brilliant. All right. Here's the other short one. I need another very tiny screw. There it is. Can you run multicolor or just change heads per project? It will do whichever you want. It automatically does all the changing and everything, just like I mean, it has 4 extruders, just like anything else that had 4 extruders. It's gonna call them individually, change them out, clean them, park them, heat them up, keep them hot, do all that amazing stuff. It's fully automated. I might have just rhymed there. All right, where's my wrench? CES? I'd like to go to CES sometime. I saw the announcements and stuff about it. Sorry, I did that again. They told me specifically to avoid clanging. And here I am clanging everything. That is not the right one. That's an M3. This is an M4. I don't have that short M3. At least I don't see it. Hmm. Six. And I don't think I have anything that short in M3. That's an M4. We can try. That is a really small screw. So I probably lost it. Let's see what we can find. Box it up, ship it back. Floor screw. I have a 6. I think a 6 will fit. I don't know what it's rated at, but this is a single start lead screw. So I'm guessing it's a TR 8x2. And Happy New Year, Finn. What's up, PT? See you later, Freddy. Thanks for coming to the stream. It's like 220, 300, 300, something like that. Okay, so you got one. Say they want you to do this. You got a ground. So you got one ground going to the. You got one ground going to the bed frame, and then you got the other one running through that cable chain. We might need another screw out of there. So this might be fun. I got way lucky on that one. Okay. I'm guessing those are M4. Oh, they want you to use the existing. They just want you to slide them under the bed mount screws. I can do that. So let's flip this back over. Hopefully we're almost done clanging it. Almost. Maybe one more clang before we finish up. Correct size wrench. Can I get that? I bet you I can. BKM Podcast, what's up? Non-fam, how's it going? Oh, you are very welcome for the Octoprint videos. I'm glad they helped. I put all three of those together because I didn't think, because it was kind of a redo. It was a revisit because I only did it because there was quite a few people that had problems with Octopi 017 and how the file systems are now structured. The old tutorial didn't work for the cameras. So I thought, well, I mean, it's just another install of Octopi. How many times can we do that, right? So I thought, well, I'll just lump them all together one after another because just waiting week to week for another Octoprint install, kind of a boring video. So I just crammed them all together. We'll start out the new year with a video every day. Harold, greetings. They are. It's a Duet Wi-Fi and a Duet X expansion board. Kling was a Klingon commander. Say that 3 times fast. Thanks, Dan. Travis, hello. How are you? Larger build volume? Eh. D is here. Hey, what's up? It is a silicone heat bed. Yes, it is. Yeah, Big Tree Tech has a Duet-like board coming out. There was another company, though, that they have a Duet clone. I don't remember who made it. Grounded. And the last ground goes on the other side of the power supply. So we got grounds everywhere. And that is an M4. That's the one I've been trying to use this whole time. They're using sensorless homing for X and Y, and then the Z it has a micro switch on the tool head. That it does. That's the wrong size. Fi-Stack. That might be the one I'm thinking of, actually. Let's see if I get that just a touch. Yes. Okay, we are all grounded. Some of us more than others. So we are going to feed all the sets of Hotend wires into the back of all 4 of these tools. Can you actually still see this from that camera? That camera got a little wonky the other day. Yeah, you can kind of see it. So we're going to feed all of the Hotend wires in the back here. Duet is just a really high-end board. Most 3D printers aren't going to need it. It just kind of depends what you're going for. But they're nice. Wasn't there like I can't even remember the name of it. There's a series of boards that are based around, I believe it's the BeagleBone Black. There was one, I saw one a couple of years ago now probably, that was kind of an all-in-one touchscreen, you know, 32, had all the software, all that. And I thought that they were like getting ready to release that, but I don't remember if I ever saw it come out. And now I don't even remember much about it. I don't remember what that board was called. Huh. That was just a vague thought there. I gotta do a little bit of research on that, see if I can figure out what that was. At the beginning, this will be riprap firmware officially. I would like to switch it over to Marlin at some point, but right now it's going to be riprap. Okay. These are all labeled. This is T1. You're welcome. Marlin won't officially run on Duet yet. The Do boards are there. There are a couple of kinds. The processor that Duet 2 uses is supported, but there's no official pins file or anything like that in Marlin for it yet. But it's coming. It's coming. I've worked on it a little bit. I've attempted to get it working a couple of times. Didn't have a whole lot of success, but I've been told that it's being worked on. Also, panel do compatibility. I've also heard that was humming. Anderson, what's up? How you doing? You're right, my bed is not leveled. But I could clang it a few more times if you'd like. Let's see auto bed leveling get out of that one. Cheating on Marlon. Well, you know, it's a sad state of affairs. What can I say? And I'm guessing by my powers of deduction that this is T2. Not in a sense. No, it would not support that. But the only changes. Well, I don't want to make that statement. I'm not 100% sure on that. But as far as I know, the only changes that you can change on the fly on Duet are the config files. It's not actually the firmware. There might be pieces of it. I'm not sure. I'd have to go back and look. I'm not 100%. Duet isn't my my strong suit by any means. But I think the only changes that you can make on the fly are the config changes, not the firmware changes. 3D Print Llama might be able to confirm that. Hey Dave, how's it going? That would be a good demo of bed leveling. On a FlashForge Pro, I don't know which one that is. Is that a Mighty board on that? If it's a Mighty board, yes, there is some support for that in Marlin. I've attempted it a couple of times, and it kind of works. I had a little bit of iffiness with it, but I did get it to print and work. All right. They want us to put some zip ties through the mount. Where are my zip ties? It's got sailfish on it. Yeah. That's probably a Mighty board. Now, there's a couple of different versions of Mighty boards, so it is possible. I'm pretty sure. Right. And that's happy 2020 to you. And Tristan, that's kind of what I was getting at. I just knocked that off of there. Don't fall, tool head. Don't do that. Don't do that. If you use Clipper, that is true. Awesome, Dave. I'm glad they were helpful. There was a lot of folks asking for those videos because of that octopi change. So I thought, well, we need to make some videos then. So I'm glad it was helpful. I try to listen to my comments. I don't ignore the video comments. I read them all. I answer 95% of them. Try to anyway. So yeah, whatever you guys need. You are welcome. I'm glad the Octopi videos helped. Come on, zip tie. One to go. Doing everything 4 times is kind of interesting. I guess the subs have been going pretty good the last couple of weeks or so. Michael over at Teaching Tech, I think it's Michael, right? I'm questioning myself. I don't want to get his name wrong. You know, he came out, I don't even know how long. He's been going over a year probably, but he came out strong. Like he's already up to 100,000 or something, and he's done really well. And he did a video. Somebody in the chat actually told me this. I wasn't aware of it, but he did a video on multiple cameras in Octoprint or something like that, and he mentioned the basement in that video. So I think that helped give us a little push along. So that was cool of him. Okay. Set that up, put that in. Now, do I really need to... Do I really need to change... They say they want me to take the tops of the tool heads off to do the wiring, but I kind of have it already pulled through. I don't know that I need to do that. How do they want to do the thermistor? Charles, thank you for the sub. Michael Cassell, hello. He's gone full time? Wow, that's awesome. And that's my question. That I mentioned I wanted to do another video. That's kind of the stuff that I want to answer. How far can we stretch that install? I was actually kind of disappointed by that whole thing. I really thought the Pi 4 was going to enable me to do a little more stuff, but it didn't. But that's going to be that's another video that I want to collect. I want to what are we telling me here? I want to collect that kind of info and put it in another video. Yep, reattach the tool top. You kind of get bunched on the top there a little bit. How does the thermistor go through? Because that thermistor, oh, it just kind of hangs out then. It's real short. Well, I guess we could go ahead and take that off. It might make things easier. Hank says someone is here. Hey, Kevin. Thank you, Ian. Yes. Yes, Michael. You want to switch the direction to make better loops with the metal strips. Switch the direction of the tops, you mean? I have an open invitation with Joel Telling. What's Joel up to? I don't guess I caught that one. $4:52. Wow, it's later than I thought it was. I think I'm gonna have to figure this one out, and then that will be all of my streaming time for the day. We hung out a long time today. Time got away from me. Okay, so they want you to take this, run it through here. Where the strips go into the printed part, those should be close together. Yep. Oh, nice. Oh, I think that was like during the live stream. I caught him with I hit him up with some Christmas money or something. We'd have to figure out what we do. I'm not quite sure what I would collab with Joel on. Okay. The printer will not work tonight. I don't have enough time to get it done. In fact, I was supposed to be off here around 5 my time, and we're getting kind of close to that already. Kernel to 64-bit. That's a good idea. We might have to test that. There's been a few tips in that video today that I want to try. Some good tips. I live in Missouri, Dave. I'm in the Kansas City area. That would be cool. Paint a landscape with Joel. That'd be a great video. Okay. So it was a little easier to put together, taking the cap off. Where the strip goes, I'm still trying to understand. Well, those go toward the back. The slot where you put the set screw in that printed part, Kevin, they're pushed towards the back. Are you saying that I need to flip them the other side, or is that good? Because I would think you'd want them towards the back with that for that metal strip, right? See you later, Sergio. Homes of Barbecue, that's right. Ah. I kind of want you to set the plugs over here. And wrap this down. This-a-wise. Gives you a little strain relief, I guess. You'll want to rotate it 180. Okay. Gotcha. Because they show it. They show it in the back. Like these. But you're saying that it's better in the front. Okay. Cool. Thank you for the heads up, Kevin. I don't want to really squish these. Ryan, what's up? I think we got it. A lot of wires in there. Alright. I'm kind of tired of messing with this anyway. This is a good place to stop. Okay. So, thank you for everybody that joined today. It is much appreciated. Got a lot of new subscribers today. That's always awesome. I'm going to quit for today, but then we'll finish the wiring. And we'll get some firmware on it, and then we can start moving around. So this will be good. It'll be good. We're getting close. I can feel it. The next one will go quite a bit longer. The next stream hopefully will be a little longer. I don't know if it's going to be tomorrow morning or Sunday morning, but we will get back to it. Just got the flaming magic smoke on this. All right, everybody. Everybody have a good evening. Yeah, we're going to get this done. Again, thanks for everybody for joining me this afternoon. It's been a good time. We've got a lot accomplished. I'm feeling good about it. We will see you all very, very soon. And I got to find the YouTube stuff because it's different now. And there it is. See you later.